Get ready for The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's dedicated update show. Events, businesses, and people. Anything and anyone causing a ripple in the community. And now, let's dive in to The Splash Live.
Hello and welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlet. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. Thank you for joining us as you can each and every day of your work week, including online by visiting us on Civic Center TV, Comcast Channel 15, and AT&T Channel 99 for you cable subscribers, on our website on civiccentertv.com, on our Watch Live page, and on the small player on our homepage. You can also find us on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15. We're also on the Facebook page today of West Bloomfield Parks, and thank them for joining us on today's edition of the program. In addition, you can always find us on live and on demand on YouTube at Civic Center TV, and also find us on the radio as you're driving throughout town today and all throughout the afternoon and evening, and all of our original programming simulcast all day, every day on 89.3 Lakes FM. Dayan, as we come to the end of the week and into Labor Day weekend, going to be very sunny, but a warm-up also coming for our local community.
True, Tyler. So today, for Friday, we're going to expect sunny, clear skies with temperatures rising to the highs of 78 degrees and lows of 54 degrees. As we go into the weekend, Saturday is going to be partly cloudy, but the temperatures are going to continue to rise. Highs are expected at around 83 and lows of 67. And Sunday is ultimately beautiful. Sunny skies, clear sunny skies with the highs of 90 and lows of 69. What a beautiful way to end the weekend, and beautiful final days of summer, Tyler.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a really nice Labor Day weekend. Going to get hot, though. Going to be hot and humid on Labor Day proper. Looking like it's also going to be in the 90s, similar to Sunday with the high of 90 and a nice low of 69 on Sunday for the community. A little bit of a cool off in the evening here in the Greater West Bloomfield area. Making news today, the Bloomfield Hills School District returns to the classroom on Tuesday next week for their first day of school, and the Bloomfield Hills School District providing you with a one-stop resource for all of your back-to-school information. If you're in the Bloomfield Hills School District in our local area, that's going to be including the new Lone Pine Elementary School, which is at the former West Hills Middle School site, as well as one of the Bloomfield Hills Middle School locations that's at the old Bloomfield Hills Middle School proper, also that will have some students from right here in West Bloomfield beginning next week. We'll give you details on that. Big game last night for the West Bloomfield Lakers and a strong performance in Week 2. Matt Catoni will join us in a little bit to talk about that game and review the Lakers' Week 2 performance and preview Week 3 as they begin OAA Red Division play at home next week, Friday. A West Bloomfield resident, actually 4 of them, have been named to the Oakland County 40 Under 40 by Oakland County Executive David Coulter, part of their Oakland Together initiative. Vince Kirkwood, who you also may recognize from the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Commission, will join us later on, talk to Dayan Chaaban about his honor as one of the 40 Under 40 here in Oakland County. The West Bloomfield Police are hiring in multiple positions. We'll tell you what jobs are available and how you can apply on today's program. Over the weekend, Labor Day fun at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. A fan favorite food truck is coming back for a nice breakfast over the weekend. We'll give you the details on the food and some of the coffee coming your way in the prettiest little city in Michigan. Then next week, the West Bloomfield Police Department are partnering with our friends at West Bloomfield Parks, as well as the American Red Cross, to honor the late Sergeant Patrick O'Rourke with a blood drive. We'll give you the details on that event and how you can help out next week. Plus, West Bloomfield School District's Family Fun Night is back before the football game next week, Friday. We'll give you all the details on the fun happening in the parking lot before the big football game. Also, the West Bloomfield Rotary Club is hosting a fundraiser coming up very soon. We'll tell you when to mark your calendars and how this is benefiting people way outside of our community here in West Bloomfield, but something that they do each and every year. Then also, we'll wrap things up by drawing back to our community as one of our local artists, art collective, really, art sale is coming to the Oakland County Farmers Market in October. We'll tell you when you can see them and all that you can expect from our friends at Art Sale coming up in the next month or so right here in our community. All those headlines and more. Stay tuned. More of your news from your hometown and your hometown community media outlets coming up after this break. This is The Splash Live.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Welcome back to The Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. Thank you as always for joining us on Civic Center TV, on civiccentertv.com, as well as online on social media, on Facebook today, on our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, as well as on the Facebook page of West Bloomfield Parks. Joining us today, Vince Kirkwood from the Parks Commission will join us later on to talk about his accomplishment as the one of the 40 under 40 here in Oakland County, as well as a little bit of Parks Commission business, including the new Connect Senior Center opening last week with a live broadcast right here on the Splash Live itself. Here in the local area, school is already in session in the West Bloomfield School District. It's going to begin on Tuesday after the Labor Day holiday in the Bloomfield Hills School District. And to get parents and students alike ready for the new year, Bloomfield Hills is providing a one-stop resource for all of your back-to-school information. All you got to do is go over to bloomfield.org and you'll be able to find this information, bloomfield.org/back-to-school. The first day of school is Tuesday, September 5th, a half day for kindergarten through 8th grade. But you high schoolers, you're going to be in school all day long for a marathon day on that first day of school. This back-to-school resource on their website at bloomfield.org/back-to-school provides information you may need to know on updating your medical management plan information, other registration events. It may be a little bit past registration now, but if you missed those registration events, contact information for people you need to contact. Probably best to contact them today about that information. Learn your child's bus route, learn more about their teacher, get their contact information in case you need to communicate with your children's educators all throughout the school year, as well as important dates to remember on the school calendar, such as that first day of school being a half day for kindergarten through 8th grade and a full day for the high schoolers. And then they also provide a graphic, and we have that on your screen there, about how students should behave, what they expect from their students across the Bloomfield Hills School District, what makes for a good learning environment, what makes for a productive student, both in and outside of the classroom, is also on display. That's their portrait of a student, portrait of a learner, which is kind of modeled off of the West Bloomfield portrait of a graduate. This was something initiated during the Pat Watson administration in the Bloomfield Hills School District. And of course, he came out of West Bloomfield. Student success is our why, and this is our how, saying that students' disposition should be to inquire about the world, to be respectful in their dialogue, to grapple with complexities and understand multiple perspectives, and then take responsible action in and outside of the classroom to be a productive student this year. Something to keep in mind over the weekend, Dayan, as students get ready to go back to the classroom. But great to have these resources available through the Bloomfield Hills School District for parents and for students alike who are trying to get that last little bit of information they need before they head back to class on Tuesday.
That is true, Tyler. It's a great way for parents to also keep in contact with the school and their educators, and just to see what is going on with their child. Again, we talked about it last week, and we've been talking about it since we knew the schools were going to start. It is very essential that parents do interfere with their child's education. I don't mean good kind of interference. Try to ask what is going on. Make sure that they know everything about, again, their child's school route. Make sure that everything's going well with their child at school, safety-wise and education-wise and mental-wise. So it is a great resource for parents to keep ahead and just in contact with the schools and to know what is going on in their child's life.
Another way you can get involved in your children's education, that good interference that Dayan was talking about, is looking forward to the vision of your school district, attending those public school board meetings and having your opinion be heard, but also those maybe non-regular meetings too that are discussing more pinpointed topics. One of those opportunities is coming up next week. It's the final of these opportunities in the West Bloomfield School District. The Strategic Visioning Committee and the School Board of Education have been hard at work for several months to form the school district's 10-year strategic plan, and they've also been receiving input since early on in this month from residents and from students, from faculty and teachers, as well as parents alike across the community. Their fourth and final strategic visioning community feedback session on their 10-year strategic plan will be happening on Tuesday at the ACS building at 7:00 p.m. That is an in-person only event, but you can join them at 5810 Commerce Road in West Bloomfield. That's at the cross street of Commerce and Pontiac Trail in West Bloomfield at the administrative building for the school district. This is an important meeting. It's the final of these 4 meetings in our community that provide feedback on the 10-year strategic plan of the West Bloomfield School District. In addition, for those who maybe English is not your primary language, or it would help to have a translator on site, another opportunity for you on September 5th. They will have Spanish, Arabic, and Japanese speaking translators on site so that you can you are able to listen in on the discussion and provide your own input as well, and make sure that your thoughts are clearly expressed to the school district as well as theirs back to you, and you have all the information that you need to provide your feedback on the 10-year strategic plan for the Strategic Visioning Committee and the West Bloomfield School District Board of Education before they put this plan into action. Dayan, a hugely important way that parents, that students, that others in the community can have their voice heard and ultimately play a role in the future of education in our local school district.
That is true, Tyler. And they're also helping out our school district to figure out what is the best solutions to create an inclusive environment for these children, for this diverse society that we have, this diverse community. The fact that, again, and I really salute them for having translators, whether it's Arabic, English, they are including every member of our society and of our community. So that is a great way for people to get their voices heard, as you said, Tyler, and to feel like they just the fact that they are getting their voices heard creates an inclusive environment, and it's very essential that we translate this inclusive environment, transfer it as well to our education system. So I think this is a great chance. This is the last chance they have. So for everybody watching us, if you are in our community, that's a great way to get your voices heard. If your kids are going to school here, don't miss out the chance to be there and get your voices heard on September 5th. Yeah,
it's Tuesday of next week, the day after Labor Day, 7:00. that meeting at the ACS building, the administrative building for the school district, just a little bit further south of Marshbank Park on Commerce Road at the cross street of Pontiac Trail in West Bloomfield. You'll be able to attend that meeting, provide your input to the school district, and this is only an in-person meeting. The previous 2 meetings have also been virtual. This one will only be in person. So if you're unable to attend, you haven't been able to attend virtually or in person those other meetings, highly encourage you to go to wbsd.org and send them a message, send them an email, give them a call, provide your input that way. Just because you can't attend these meetings does not mean that you cannot provide your input to the West Bloomfield School District. As you know, my phone agreeing with that. Dinging the bell. You can ding the bell also by going to these meetings or by sending your thoughts to the West Bloomfield School District online at wbsd.org. We have some thoughts on the West Bloomfield School District, particularly on the athletics side, about their West Bloomfield High School football team. A really nice game last night on the road at the brand new Falcon Field. Matt Catoni, our color commentator and Civic Center TV sports reporter, will join me after this break to discuss last night's game and look forward to the future as the Lakers have a tough OAA Red division schedule coming up beginning next week at home on Family Fun Night at West Bloomfield High School. We'll take a break after this. More of your stories from your community and on your community media outlets. Stay tuned. The Splash Live returns after this.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
1 in 4 Michigan homes has high levels of radon, a naturally occurring radioactive gas known to cause lung cancer. It doesn't matter where you live or what type of home you have. You won't even know it's there unless you test. So don't wait. Testing is cheap and easy. And if there's a problem, it's simple to fix. Visit michigan.gov/radon to learn more.
We took action. Will you?
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Watch West Bloomfield Lakers football all season long on 89.3 FM and Civic TV. Join Tyler Kieft and Matt Catoni each week for live, in-depth, and exclusive coverage before, during, and after the big game. It's your local high school football team on the road and in your backyard on your home for West Bloomfield Laker Football, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live, Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban here on Civic Center TV, on Comcast Channel 15, and on AT&T Channel 99. You can also find us online on CivicCenterTV.com, on YouTube at Civic Center TV, and you can find us today on 2 different Facebook pages, our Facebook page at Civic Center TV 15, and we also welcome you in joining us on the West Bloomfield Parks Facebook page as well, and thank them, Abby Burgess and Kelly Heyer and the entire team over at West Bloomfield Parks for joining us on today's program. We'll have a lot more on Parks coming up later on, but for now, we'll focus in on West Bloomfield football. The West Bloomfield Lakers last night going on the road for the 2nd consecutive week, this time against Birmingham Groves, a cross OAA matchup between the Lakers in the OAA Red division and the Groves Falcons in the OAA White division. Both teams coming in 1-0, but only one could leave undefeated. Let's take a look at the action from last night. Week number 2 for the Lakers took them on the road once again, this time to the brand new Falcon Field to see Birmingham Groves of the OAA White. The L-BOYZ started early in the first half, and it was an air raid. With the first pass, that man, Rick Nance, finds Elijah Durham for his 3rd touchdown of the season, giving West Bloomfield the early lead. On the next possession, the Falcons march up the field with a show of escapability. Senior quarterback Caden Hardy finds his brother Nick to even things up at 7. But that's where the trouble began for Groves. They recover the short kickoff to WB, but a penalty gives possession back to the Lakers. A scary moment on the scamper for senior quarterback Rick Nance. Hit hard, and he hobbles off the field, but never fear, Jamal Shakespeare is here, and he hands it off to Cam Flowers, who finds the sideline, tight ropes to open field, and hits the end zone. Lakers take the lead 14-7. From there, all L-BOYZ all the time. Marquise Morris, they call him the Flash. Guess why? 73-yard touchdown and a 2-score lead. And the Lakers were not done yet. Another huge shot to Elijah Durham puts the Lakers fully in control near halftime. But then, this.
Comfortably second all-time on the Lakers list. That kickoff is muffed. Diving for it at the 20, and now West Bloomfield gets on top of it. And the Lakers are going to take over again. The luck on the kickoff last time went toward Birmingham Groves and got ripped away on a penalty. And this time, the hero is with West Bloomfield, and it is the senior, Bryce Parker, diving on that ball. And the Lakers, another opportunity.
West Bloomfield takes over deep in Groves country, and Josh Tate gets his first touchdown of the season on the ground. West Bloomfield up 27 points. Penalties galore in the second half, but big defensive plays too. Nothing much doing for Groves. The Lakers take this one 41-19, 2-0 as they head home next week against Stony Creek. That is where the Lakers stand, 2-0 coming into OAA Red Division play. And now Matt Catoni, our color commentator for West Bloomfield Laker Football, exclusively live here on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM, joins us after a really exciting game last night for the Lakers. Started off firing on every single cylinder. The defense, excellent after a quick score early in the game for Birmingham Groves, really shutting down that offense that had its way in week one with North Farmington, and then in the second half still being able to move the ball offensively. The biggest takeaway for this is just how effective the Lakers can be in all three phases of the game when they play focused football, when they execute on their game plan, and when everybody is playing their role perfectly.
Yeah, before the season started, speaking to Coach Hilbers, he spoke about how he wanted to play complementary football. You know, defense helps the offense, and just everyone helps each other and helps make everyone's job easier. We saw that last night. The offense stepped up, and when the defense got to stop and gave them good field position, they reciprocated that and put points up on the board. It was really a beautiful display of complementary football last night. I was really impressed with how the offense was able to move the ball.
Yeah, the Lakers showing that chemistry again in the air, but also what was really nice to see is against a very tough, very physical interior for Birmingham Groves, they were able to get that running game going with multiple options in the backfield. Rick Nance, another nice game running the football, and Josh Tate getting involved, his biggest game of the season, including that touchdown you saw just a couple moments ago, but also Cam Flowers, a huge game for him on the ground with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, how he was running the football, you would have thought Cameron Flowers was a running back himself and not a wide receiver. He really was running it physically. He was getting the ball, and he was refusing to go down at the first touch. And I think Josh Tate really had a fantastic game, not just running the ball, but he was really impressive as a pass blocker last night.
Yeah, Elijah Durham on Twitter or X or whatever we're calling it nowadays, I posted a highlight, and he had responded. It was a touchdown that he scored, his second touchdown in the air of the game, and credited Marquise Morris also for those upfield blocks. And in past seasons, one of the best players in an upfield block situation in the skill positions had been Trenton Allison. And a lot of these younger guys taking that lesson from seeing what Trenton Allison had done in past seasons and other players down the depth chart, making big plays in the blocking game, setting up their players to make big plays all game long. Rick Nance had a couple of nice blocks as well. That offensive line getting down the field, getting to the sideline, opening up holes for their speedy backs like Cam Flowers, and also for wide receivers like Marquise Morris to use the sideline and get to open space, knowing that the Lakers' speed is deadly against any team each and every week that they're playing, whether it's Thursday, whether it's on Fridays, or maybe eventually a Saturday game at Ford Field down the line, should the Lakers be able to win a whole lot of games this football season and advance throughout the playoffs. What was a glaring issue, though, last night was the number of penalties. It was a little bit of an issue in week one at the Zenith Prep Kickoff Classic, but something unlike we've seen doing these broadcasts over the last several years of their games. It was not necessarily something that was popping up time and time again, but last night really the floodgates sort of opened for the Lakers on the penalties side, but ultimately not really affecting them in the final score.
Yeah, you mentioned the penalties in week one. There was fewer in week one. There was more so the timing of those penalties, but last night they just had a bunch of like small mental mistake penalties, a handful of delay of games that you really can't have, especially late in the season. That'll come back to bite them. But also just a few personal fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct penalties that you just really can't have either.
Yeah, those penalties can be game changers. That's the difference between, in a close game, between having a close game and having a runaway game. You think about even Birmingham Groves last night, that kickoff that was short to the Lakers. Groves came up with it. A penalty ended up giving that ball instead to West Bloomfield, and that's where they took over the game. It was 7-7 at that point. West Bloomfield got the ball back, went up the field, took a 14-7 lead, and never looked back. Perhaps could have been in the other direction if Birmingham Groves had not had a penalty on that kickoff and ended up coming up with possession. So the Lakers definitely going to be working on discipline as they head home next week. But now they get into the thick of their schedule. And Matt, it doesn't get any easier from here. Next week, Rochester Hills, Stony Creek is coming into town. The first OAA Red Division matchup. They are 1-1 after blowing out Bloomfield Hills on the road at Bloomfield Hills High School last night in a 57-7 routing of the Blackhawks. The Lakers have a really tough schedule coming up the next 5 weeks or so. Really, really tricky for the Lakers. Really, the rest of the way, there is no room for error.
Yeah, minimal room for error at this point. By 4 weeks from now, the Lakers will only have one home game left, so that really even slims the margin of error over these next few weeks. They really got to handle business at home this week, especially against a team like Stony Creek. And when they have Rochester Adams and Clarkson coming up later on in the season, it's really important to get a win next week.
Yeah, Stony Creek is no team to underestimate. It's a team that runs a high-powered offense. They had some success in the running game last season when the Lakers met them on the road in Rochester Hills, and it's a team that can sneak up on you. They're in the OAA Red Division. This is a talented team that can play good football on any given Friday, and then from there, it gets really tough. The consecutive matchups, you have three of the top teams in the Red Division back to back to back. Lake Orion on the road, always a tough environment, a very passionate fan base in northern Oakland County there. Then you come home to Rochester Adams, a team that just a few years ago beat you in week one at home at Lakers Stadium and played spoiler to the Lakers again in the playoffs later on that season. And then you go to Clarkston, and that is a rivalry game on the road in one of the most passionate environments in the entire county. And Oxford after that, big blue trap game on the road, another fan base that loves their team and a team that plays hard every single week, and it's tough to beat whether they are really good or whether they're in a rebuilding or reloading mode like they've been over the last couple of seasons. So for the Lakers, the rest of this year, they have to shore up on those discipline issues. They have to limit the number of penalties, but not lose track of the game that they're playing, because so far, Matt, we've seen them play excellent football.
Yeah, I think they'll clean up a lot of the mistakes that they've made so far. Like the delay of games, I think those will go away. The offense is, kind of new faces, young offensive line, so they're probably working out some kinks, so we'll see those go away. And I really think that'll be something interesting to watch later on as we get into these tougher OAA Red matchups, how that younger offensive line fares and if they're able to really keep these running lanes that they've had open these past few weeks.
Lake Orion 2-0 after wins against Livonia Stevenson and Harper Woods. They see Oxford on Friday next week, September 8th, with a kickoff at 7 o'clock. Then the Lakers after that, we'll see Rochester Adams at home They are 1-0 after after a win at Orchard Lake St. Mary's last week. They play tonight against Rochester High, and then they have a big early season test next week on the road at Clarkston High School. Then Clarkston Wolves, of course, going to see Rochester Adams in 2 weeks on September 8th. But they also have a really tough schedule coming up. Southfield A&T, they'll be playing tonight on the road in Southfield. Southfield coming off a big Week 1 victory over Cass Tech, and Clarkston losing in a 10-24 matchup at the Big House last week against Northfield. Potentially, Clarkston could start this season 0-3 if they don't get past Southfield A&T, and if Rochester Adams has a big game against them, showing they are not in a reloading year. They beat Orchard Lake St. Mary's, another powerful program in our local area, and Rochester Adams off to a strong start again. So all the more reason the Lakers have to be on their game each and every week, have a similar performance, and never take their foot off the gas. Matt, I think that was something that was really evident last night, that game was out of reach for Birmingham Groves by the time we got to the half, and the Lakers kept their starters in the game, kept playing hard, kept moving the football and scoring points, and that really shows that every single minute of those 48-minute games counts for this team in 2023.
Yeah, even though last night it was a blowout and by the halftime, you could still tell that the Lakers wanted to really keep the offensive end, keep the offense humming, maybe get more, like I said before, get that young offensive line some reps and really get that run game in rhythm. And we saw it by the end of the game on those jet sweeps and any outside handoff. The offensive line was moving people up. Those running lanes were there, and they were able to run the ball at will come late in the game.
Yeah, so far, teams averaging just 20 points against the Lakers over the first 2 weeks. That's right around the average that defense gave up a season ago. And right now, the Lakers are still without two of their star linebackers heading to Big Ten schools next fall, with Kari Jackson and Montel Johnson yet to play this season for the L-BOYZ. Once they come back, that linebacker core, that front seven for the Lakers, going to be a loaded team, with Brody Pecor already having a nice season for the Lakers, and Darian Hicks off to a nice start as well at the linebacker position. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Lakers season continues next week, Friday, a special game at home to kick off the home schedule against Rochester Hills Stony Creek. It's family fun night at West Bloomfield High School. We'll have more details for you on that later on in the program, but the Lakers kick off against the Cougars of Stony Creek at 7 o'clock next week, Friday. We'll have our pregame show beginning with This Week in Laker Football at 6 o'clock, and the Laker pregame show with Matt Catoni and I at 6:30. We'll take a break on the Splash Live. On the other side, recognizing your Oakland Together 40 under 40. 4 out of those 40 are from right here in West Bloomfield, and Dayan Chaaban will talk to one of those after this break. More of your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets coming up next on the Splash Live.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live.
Pure is what you make of it. It's how the hustle of the cities can change the course of history. It's the beauty of the things we create on a canvas, on a plate, or stretched high above the sidewalk. It's a patch of green or a stretch of blue, right in the heart of downtown. It's the buzz of it all, or if you prefer, it's tuning it all out. Clear your schedule and pursue your Pure in Pure, Michigan.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Welcome back to the Splash Live. This is Dayan Chaaban alongside Tyler Kieft. So I am pleased to present Vincent Kirkwood, the Executive Director at Playworks and the Commissioner at West Bloomfield's Parks and Recreation Center. Vincent, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, Vincent, we know that you have recently, your hard work and dedication at West Bloomfield Parks and as an executive director at Playworks has recently earned you a prestigious award, and the 40 under 40, which is granted to people who are creating, or professionals who are creating, a positive impact in our community. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this means to you?
Absolutely. Again, thanks for having me, Dayan. So yes, I'm a recipient of the Oakland Together 40 under 40, and very prestigious. I'm very honored and pleased to have gotten this award. It seems as though all of my work from the last, let's say, 15 years has been in Oakland County, trying to make a difference, whether it be with West Bloomfield Parks and Rec, whether it be with Playworks and working in Oakland County schools, worked at MRA for a few years, which is in Oakland County. So it's kind of a situation where it's all being kind of put together and wrapped up into one big bow, all the work that I've done for the last couple of years. So I'm very excited about it.
That is great to hear. Now, as you said earlier, you do have a lot of roles simultaneously. A lot of roles. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna look at my screen right now and just read them. So you are an assistant professor at Wayne State University, a consultant in diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a chair member of West Bloomfield Parks, and also a trustee for Art Road nonprofit, and an executive director at Playworks. That's a huge list, and I'm sorry I had to read that out of my screen. But how have these varied experiences influenced your approach to each role, and how have they contributed and complemented each other?
Well, you missed a couple.
It's a long list. You do a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Well, you know what? I'll speak to the things that I've done in the local region first. So, as you mentioned, I'm the Parks and Rec Commissioner for the city of West Bloomfield. But what I didn't hear you say is that I'm the founder of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Association that takes place in West Bloomfield. It's a relationship, a partnership rather, with West Bloomfield Parks, West Bloomfield, the township, as well as the library. And we've all come together to create this diversity and inclusion task force, because we know that in the city of West Bloomfield, there are a ton of different ethnic backgrounds, cultures that need to be celebrated. And one of the things, when I thought of this task force maybe 3 years ago, I was thinking that our town is probably one of the most diverse that I've ever seen, let alone lived in, and it's within Oakland County. So we started that. From there, I work with Parks and Rec Commission. So we commission to make sure that the parks and the waterways and the trails and all of that is running smoothly. Then at Playworks, we work in a lot of Oakland County schools as well, to focus on safe and healthy recess, making sure students and kids are getting the proper physical activity that the CDC recommends every day. So we give tips on that. We do actual physical activity at the schools and recess. We talk about how to do physical activity at home to make sure kids are moving and not just playing on their iPads and their tablets. So all of those three things kind of come together with the focus on community, with the focus on bettering society, bettering the folks in Oakland County, bettering the folks in Michigan. And it's a pleasure to do it. I'm really excited about the work that I've done, being recognized for the impact. And that's what it's about. It's about the impact that these programs that I'm trying to launch and start have on the community, not just the award. The award is great and it's nice to be recognized, but my thought is, well, how are we impacting the community? How are we coming together? How are the different ethnic backgrounds and cultures coming together to be celebrated within Oakland County and even furthermore within West Bloomfield?
That is a great, and I gotta give it to you. It is, when I first came to Oakland County, I'm a new resident of Oakland County, and when I first came here, the most comfortable thing that I got to experience is how welcoming it is, and how welcoming people are here in general, whether it's in events or whether it's how we do, and here's the thing, we never get to meet the people who are working on creating a more inclusive environment. So again, thank you for being with us today. It's great to know all the work that you are doing. Can you tell us a little bit more about one of the most prideful projects you have done here in Oakland community, and that's pushed, kind of made you or contributed to you being a member of the 40 under 40?
Absolutely. I'm going to have to say the development of the task force, and I'll give you a quick background story of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. I was a member, or I still a member of the Parks and Rec Commission, and I started to see some of the things that were going on in the different towns, and I said, well, you know, these different towns aren't even as close to being as diverse as West Bloomfield. So I sent an email. Now, remember, I'm a commissioner at the time, but I sent an email to the executive director of Parks and Rec, who actually, in a way, reports to me. But I sent an email and I said, hi, this is Vincent Kirkwood, not the commissioner Vincent Kirkwood, but the resident Vincent Kirkwood of West Bloomfield. And I would love to see us do more as it relates to cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, celebrations, things like that. And the executive director at the time said, okay, let's talk about it. So we started to talk about it. We started to think about it and have conversations around what it would look like. That was in 2020. Today we're in 2023. We have over, I want to say, 75 volunteers that help us with events. We started with just an email and a couple of residents, maybe 4 or 5, that were having these Zoom conversations during COVID about what the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force would look like, what it could look like. So 3 years ago to today, we've got over 75 volunteers from the city of West Bloomfield. We've got state reps that are involved. We've got police involved. We've got library involved. We've done several events that celebrate diversity. It has been more than what I have even imagined 3 years ago when this idea came to fruition. So I'm really thankful for that, because that is the type of impact that I was hoping for. The fact that Blacks could come together, whites could come together, Jewish, Arab Americans, Muslims, all kind of people come together. And you should see us, Dayan. We are a force to be reckoned with. When we get together, the ideas are just flowing, the thoughts are flowing. We've had events where we focus on LGBT. We've had events where we focus on the Jewish community. We've had events focus on the Black community. And we're continuing to do that as more volunteers come along, because, you know, the whole point is that we get representation from all groups, so that, you know, each group can have an opportunity to be celebrated. And who better to do that, who better to bring that in than folks and members of that particular community to come in and help us celebrate that particular group of people in our community. So we're really excited about it.
That is a great way to put it. I always agree with people, including the diversity and including different members of the community and people of different cultures is always an added bonus to us as a community and to America. This is what's great about America. It's inclusivity and the fact that it's so diverse. And when people come together, it's just great, as you mentioned, and you're giving us the best example of it. Now, I wanted to ask you something a little bit more personal. So what did inspire you in the first place to become who you are right now? Because I know it is definitely a personal thing, that sending out that email in the first place, that must have been an experience to you. Like, something must have inspired you to send or to start that work task force in the first place.
Absolutely. That's a great question. I'll have to say that 9 years ago, I got, my wife told me she was pregnant with our first child. And I think ever since then, I've had this hunger and this desire to show, to not just be of lip service to my family, including my wife, my daughter, my son who's 5, my daughter who's 9, But it feels as though since my wife told me that she was pregnant with my daughter, I've had this urge to just do and not just talk about it, but be about it and do it. And partly because I want my daughter and my son to grow up in a community where everyone is represented. You know, if you look back into slavery and back, you know, in past times, we weren't always granted the opportunities that we have now. And I believe that it's important. It was a time then that our ancestors did the work. And this is the kind of work we can do right now. This is the kind of work I can do. And it's showing my daughter and my son that in the future, as they get older, there's going to be work that they need to do as well. And you can do that work in your community. You can start locally. You can do it, you know, in Michigan. You can do it nationally. There's a lot of work to be done in our country. And what I'm doing is just a small step in this local community of West Bloomfield and Oakland County to make a difference. And I think that the inspiration, the passion behind it comes from my kids looking at me. And when they get older, they can say, Daddy made a difference. Daddy made an impact on the community that we live in. Now, we hope they stay in Oakland County. We'll see. But if they do, great. They'll know that they were a part of the impact that Dad had in this county, in this community. But I'm looking for them to do bigger and better things. And I want to be along for the ride.
That is great. That is a great story, Vincent. You are truly a very inspiring role model, not only to your kids and family, but also to everybody in our community and beyond. Such a great story you just told us. Now, just to wrap this up, what are your future endeavors as a member of the 40 Under 40, and what do you say to our community members and to people who are aspiring to create a difference in our community?
Absolutely. So, you know, I'll speak to the first question. My future is kind of untold. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if I want to continue to make impact. And as I continue to do what I'm doing in Parks and Recreation, with Playworks, with the different boards that I sit on, I believe that time will tell what's next for me, what opportunities are out there for me to continue to make a difference and continue to make an impact. So I'm going to say that in 10 years or in the future, as long as I'm making an impact on students, whether it be at the university level, making an impact on community and residents, I would like to continue to be doing that in 10 years. You asked me another question. I forgot what the second part of it was.
Yeah, I was asking you, what would you say to children or people in our community if they want to be or they want to impact positive change in Oakland County and beyond Oakland County?
I would say start. And I would say, in reference to what I did, send that email. Send that acknowledgement, make that phone call, and start somewhere. Because if I hadn't sent that email one day and just was thinking about it, we would never have had a diversity task force in West Bloomfield. And over 75 people have been volunteering and helping and impacting the community. So without that initial email that I sent, we wouldn't have had what we have here in the city of West Bloomfield and in Oakland County. So I would say to anyone that wants to begin to do something, make a difference, make an impact, to just start. Send that email, make that phone call, write that letter. That is the starting point. And you'll see where you go after that. You know, look at me. I sent an email in 2020. It's 2023. And the Diversity Task Force is thriving. We're making a difference. We're making an impact. And I'm very excited about it. But I would say to anyone younger than me, older than me, just start. And then from there, your path will take you on to where you need to be.
What a great and inspiring story, Vincent. And thank you so much for all the positive impact you have on our community. And I'm sure you and the task force will continue to do. Anybody who is looking to volunteer with the West Bloomfield Parks, you can connect with them at westbloomfieldparks.com. We will also be sharing the link.
.org, I believe.
.org. I'm
.org.
sorry. So westbloomfieldparks.org. You can also connect. You can find their emails also. If you want to connect with Vincent, you can email him directly. If you have a great idea for our beloved community, go ahead. Again, as Vincent said, send that email. You never know you might be the next 40 under 40 leader.
And
Vincent,
even if that email is to me, send it.
Vincent, thank you so much for joining us again. Coming up next, we are going to go for a short break. And coming up next, more events and news from all over Greater West Bloomfield and Oakland County. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Okay, there we go. Welcome back to The Splash Live. Greater West Bloomfield's live daily news and talk show is your home for your stories from throughout your community. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Dayan Chaaban. The West Bloomfield Police Department are looking to add you to their team with officer positions as well as police service aid positions available as we speak. If you're looking to become a police officer, the starting pay is around $51,650 for Academy-sponsored applicants, a little bit higher for those that are Academy graduates, and much better pay options available if you are a police officer with some experience. You can apply to that job on wbtownship.org/jobs until Wednesday, September 13th. A little bit shorter of a deadline if you're looking to become a police service aide. That includes work on the front desk, writing reports, answering phone calls, booking arrestees, monitoring prisoners at the jail facility within the police department headquarters, among other duties. It's a part-time job, but you need to be available for all of those shifts that they have, and this is not a temporary position. Starting pay is about $20 per hour and increases to $21 per hour after about 6 months. Got to be a U.S. citizen, at least 18 years of age, and have at the minimum an associate's degree or be pursuing a college degree and be in an accredited college degree program. wbtownship.org/jobs. If you want to be a police officer, you have until September 13th to apply for police service aid positions. That is a deadline of Wednesday next week, September 7th. The Sylvan Lake community going to be enjoying some good food and some hot coffee on Sunday morning at the Sylvan Lake Community Center, backed by popular demand on Sunday, September 3rd, from 9:30 to 1 o'clock. It is Batter Up Waffles and Rise and Grind Coffee, both coming back to the Sylvan Lake Community Center So go out and enjoy a sunny Sunday morning on Labor Day weekend with some nice food and activities at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. A great way to start your Sunday on this Labor Day weekend. Coming up next week, the West Bloomfield Police Department partnering with Parks and with the American Red Cross for a blood drive in memory of the late Sergeant Patrick O'Rourke, who was killed in duty on the job as a police sergeant several years ago in our community. The American Red Cross will be bringing this blood drive to West Bloomfield Parks Connect on Wednesday of next week, September 6th, from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. at Connect. Again, that's on West 14 Mile Road in Farmington. Same complex as Bush's Fresh Food Market. And if you want to learn more about this blood drive or others in our local area, redcrossblood.org is the place to go. Also happening next week on Friday, on September 8th, it's Family Fun Night at West Bloomfield High School. Fun activities, games, including, hey, you kids, you want to play some video games at school. They're going to bring in this big truck. It's basically a camper, an RV that's full of video games. That will be there. The U.S. Army, the Navy, the Air Force, other branches of the military on site, along with our local police and fire and other public safety departments, community organizations, local businesses, and more. Then it's a great football game at 7 o'clock. The Lakers opening up their home football season, one of just 3 home games at the Swamp this year, taking on Rochester's Stony Creek and their Family Fun Night matchup. You wear your spirit wear like these kids are on your screen on CivicCenterTV.com. You will get into the game for free. That's kids only. Adults, you can wear your spirit wear, but you still need to get your tickets online at westbloomfieldathletics.com or wbsd.org for more information. Family Fun Night coming up on Friday in West Bloomfield. Also, mark your calendars for October. Some fun events coming up that are going to be impacting people right here in our community and far outside of Greater West Bloomfield. The Rotary Club of West Bloomfield will be holding its annual fundraiser called Out of Africa Dinner and Auction. That's happening October 22nd at 4 p.m. at the Huron River Club. $100 tickets get you into the event, get you into dinner. I have an opportunity to join in on their silent auction throughout the event, and all the proceeds go to support the George community in Zambia in Africa, education, medical care, and humanitarian aid. We'll reach out to the West Bloomfield Rotary Club, try to get someone on the show. We've had Scott Loney on in the past to talk about this event and their support of this community in Zambia and Dayan. It's a really nice event. It's a really nice way for people in our community to support these communities in Africa, and particularly this one community, the George community in Zambia, providing these resources that community absolutely needs and needs to be resupplied on a yearly basis.
That is true, Tyler. That is a great opportunity for people to help those in need. And we're talking about a very simple needs that we take for granted here, living in a better country. Unfortunately, those people actually need some minor needs, such as food. They need water, or just like some basic resources so they can be able to go to school. So this is such a great opportunity for anyone who is altruistic in nature to give back to. Again, I say, Tyler, we are sometimes blessed. God truly blesses us with the work we got, with the chance we have to live in a great environment, in a great community. So it is sometimes, we should sometimes give back not only to members of our community, but also give back to other people. And this is such a great opportunity for anyone who wishes to help. So.
Yeah, Calvin, if we can put that graphic up once again, that their fundraiser graphic, Out of Africa Dinner and Auction, October 22nd at the Huron River Club in Farmington. You can get tickets online at westbloomfieldrotary.org or by mailing your checks to West Bloomfield Area Rotary Foundation, 2611 Vanell Drive in West Bloomfield, Michigan, zip code 48324. All that information, again, westbloomfieldrotary.org. to find info, and also they're joining in on the Rotary Club for other community-wide efforts all year long. Mark your calendars, just 4 weeks from Sunday, October 1st, is going to be a fall fine art and craft show at the Oakland County Farmers Market, and all the 28 artists that will be featured at the show, many of them are from our local art sale collective in the Tri-Cities in the greater West Bloomfield community. These art sale artists practice a variety of different disciplines. It all started as a Facebook group just a few years ago and has grown to have nearly 1,000 people in that group, both artists themselves and people that are just art enthusiasts and want to support local artists producing their works and selling their works in our local area. You have a chance to do that 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the Oakland County Farmers Market on Sunday, October 1st. Get there early for your first look at the best sales. And Braced by Wire, one of the many groups of artists, or the artists in art sale, said the last time they were at the Oakland County Farmers Market, they drew more people than any other special event during that entire season, they were told by the crew over at Oakland County Parks and Recreation, who organizes the annual Oakland County Farmers Market running all throughout the summer and into the fall. That is located 2350 Pontiac Lake Road in Waterford. And if you just search art sale, like the sale of a sailboat, on Facebook, you can join the Art Sale Collective online and learn more information about all the other places that art sale artists are bringing their works in our local area each and every day. Plenty of more news and information with us here on the Splash Live every single day. It is your home for your news in your local community from your community media outlets. We'll have stories from all throughout the community on upcoming events, ongoing projects, including construction or new buildings or new initiatives in our community. We'll talk to a lot of great people all throughout the day, each and every workday, including people like today. We've been speaking to Vince Kirkwood from the Parks Commission and Matt Catoni, our sports reporter, joining us to review West Bloomfield football. And you can always join us online on CivicCenterTV.com, find us on demand, and watch us live all throughout the day. Stay with us. Plenty more news and information. It's your stories from your hometown on your community media outlets all day long. We'll be back with more soon on the Splash Live.